Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Auscast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Auscast.
Simply head to auscastnetwork.com for details.
In a world where everyone says hello,
they dare to say,
g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day. Yes. Good day. Yeah. G'day. G'day. Yeah. G'day. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Good day.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, g'day.
G'day. Hey. Yeah. G'day. Yeah. G'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
Yeah. G'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Welcome to Yeah G'day, the complete guide to Australia, where we are the guide of Australia and Australians, but from the perspective of two
We
Australians.
are Australian.
That speedy intro has no impact on anyone aside from Tim and I, who just recorded the intro of this episode and were into the meat of it when our recorder died.
We're a good 6 to 7 minutes into the episode, I'd say.
Yeah, and from what it seems, I think lost.
Just
that.
gone.
If I find it, we'll release the intro on its own.
Yeah.
And now I've got to turn my phone off too. So we're having a good time.
Texting.
Tim, we are the guide to Australia that is complete.
Yep.
All areas are covered by us. And people come to us and they expect a certain style. They expect certain things from us. They have expectations.
Okay, this is different to what you did before, so I'm not sure where you're going with it.
Mainly because I forgot everything that I said before. It was
Yeah.
funny. Hey, listeners, I can promise you, you would have laughed.
Yeah.
I laughed.
Yeah,
You
it was
would've too.
actually pretty obnoxious. Don't laugh at your own jokes. No.
Hey, fuck you. One thing that people come to us for, though, is bushrangers.
Correct.
Bushranger knowledge, bushranger info. People who've ranged the bush.
Yep.
And we provide them with the details.
We've got the details.
Where they ranged what bush.
Yeah.
And episode 60, that's where we are now.
9 off nice.
Fuck you. That was my joke. I was going to make it a second time.
Not on this one, it wasn't, my friend. Not on this one.
Oh, I see the game you want
I
to play.
am forever immortalized as having made that joke.
You son of a... I'm going to hack into this to find the recording of me saying it first. And it's time to talk about a bushranger. Forget all the other fodder. Speedy intro. We're here. We're Australian. Get used to it.
Yeah.
Tim, who are we talking about today?
Today I'll be speaking to you about Frank Gardiner.
Oh!
And let me tell you, I know the first part of his life rather well. I don't know much about the rest of him, never got to it. But no, I do know the first part quite well. Hey, let me tell you about Frank Gardiner.
Oh, before you do that, let me also just tell our listeners for the first time that this person was recommended to us by Aidan Phelan.
Yeah.
From A Guide to Australian Bushranging.
Correct. We will
because
be using his article as part of our information.
We will. I went to him because I was not in the mood to search for bushrangers. And I'll tell you what, he's probably going to get an email every 5 episodes now.
Yeah, if he could just run, just did a porky pig there. If he could just run these episodes for us, that'd be great.
Entire podcast.
Yeah.
Tell me about Frankie Gardiner.
Yeah, let me tell you
Frankie.
Frank Gardiner. Born in 1830.
Yep.
There are two theories.
Oh.
One says that he was born. This is the one that Aidan agrees with. He was born in Ross-shire, Scotland in 1830 as Francis Christie.
You're going the other way this time.
Yeah, because I've got to do the interesting fact.
Yeah.
The other one suggests that he was born in Goulburn, New South Wales. He was what they called a currency lad.
Oh.
What that means, currency lad, currency laddess.
Yeah.
Ladette.
Ladite.
It doesn't work to repeat a joke.
I
not
think
that
it's
funny
still.
anymore.
I think that one's still funny. Personally.
Anyway, that basically was a term that they referred to people who were born in Australia but had parents who had immigrated from the UK. So the Sterling folk were the people who had emigrated from the UK and immigrated into Australia.
Yep.
And the currency lad and laddettes, laddites,
Lattice.
That's not correct. Luddite is a very different meaning. Were the people born here. But it seems that Aidan thinks, that he was born in Ross-shire, Scotland. But they did move to Goulburn. Borrow Creek, which is near Goulburn. They came across on a ship named James.
What are you going to name your ship? James.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
In 1834, he had a brother and two sisters, and obviously his parents came with him. And
they moved into the big merino.
Yeah, seemed to keep a relatively low profile until Frank hit adolescence. At which point, like all good bushrangers, he started stealing horses.
Well, when I hit my teens, I was stealing horses like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And there wasn't.
He apparently teamed up with a bloke named Joe Newton. I knew a Joe Newton growing up. I wonder if it's the same one.
Probably the same one.
Yeah.
I think there's no way that it couldn't be the same one.
It seems likely. From Juggeong Station, and took them over the border into Victoria. At the time, for those who don't know, this is pre-Federation in Australia, so each state was technically its separate colony, and they had different policing laws, which becomes important later in the story, actually.
It does.
It becomes very important later in the story. So getting it across the border meant that they couldn't technically be charged unless they went back across the border.
I forgot my keys.
At which point, theoretically, they would have got rid of the evidence. So they tried to do this basically. They did this with two racehorses. Then they added a bloke named William Troy to their little group and stole some more horses. They got a mob of horses of about 30.
Is that the collective noun for horse? Mob?
That's the one that Aidan uses.
Aidan,
I don't
is that
know
the collective noun for horses?
what the collective noun for horses are. Basically, they planned to sell them in Adelaide. This didn't work out. The police got them near Geelong. He was given 5 years for horse stealing.
Yep.
He was put in Melbourne jail at first. Then he was moved to the stockade at Pentridge.
Yes, Pentridge Prison. Interesting place.
Then, while they were working, apparently they had work detail just outside the prison.
Right.
They rushed the guards, and a bunch of them escaped.
The plan, the simplicity, the success is in the simplicity of that plan. Rush the guards.
Just get out of there.
And we'll get out. Just run.
Yeah. After he escaped, he returned to New South Wales, but eventually, during this period, there's the gold rush in Australia.
Yes.
Lure of gold. He went back to Victoria, went into the diggings. So apparently, there was a period there in Abercrombie Ranges, which is in New South Wales. He used the name Clarke. He liked to change his name up a lot, apparently.
We all do.
Liked to lie about his name. And he was stealing stock up there, and he got nabbed again. Sentenced to 14 years on Cockatoo Island.
You've been to Cockatoo Island?
Have I been?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I have. Because now it's a place of art installations.
Oh, that's true, actually,
more than anything. But they still have, like this. You can still go look at all the interesting history. A side note on Cockatoo Island. There was the colony that it was, the prison colony or whatever it was, the convict spot. But then it became, like, later on, it became a school for, like, hard boys, I think. I don't know if there were girls there, but, like, a school for... So
Naughty
it's
boys.
this eerie thing that you go to this island, you catch the ferry over. It's in Sydney. And outside, there are some big hangars and stuff, I think, for when it was more of a boatyard as well. But there's also, like, markings of, like, basketball courts and things. It's kind of really weird to look at. And then you go up the hill and you're in, like, a convict dormitory.
Yeah.
But I've seen some interesting art there. So,
there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a side note.
Fun little side story.
I apologise for that tangent.
No,
With the limited battery we have.
Don't worry about it, mate. So this is March 1854. He gets sent to Cockatoo Island. This is when he starts his sentence. It's where he meets a gentleman by the name of John Paisley.
Named after the Tyrus.
And he became friends quite quickly, and he will work with John after getting out, which we'll talk about soon. And it actually is thought, it's possible, that he, at that time, met a gentleman, Frederick Wordsworth Ward, who we've spoken about before, Captain Thunderbolt.
I don't know if we said it in the Captain Thunderbolt episode. Frederick Wordsworth Word. Is It's a much better name.
Yes, whatever you said.
It rolls off the
is
tongue.
Definitely better.
Whatever. Cappy Thunder.
Cappy Thunder, yeah. It's possible that he met him. It's not confirmed, but seems that they were probably there about the same time. So
I reckon
it's
there was at
possible.
least an acknowledging nod of just...
Yeah. What's up, bruv? Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely said bro back then.
1859, he was given a ticket of leave, and that's when he goes south to the goldfields
Yeah.
in Kiandra, where he actually became a butcher, and that's when he started using the name Frank Gardiner. Because remember, his name was like Francis Christie or something like
Francis
that.
Christie, then it was Clarke.
Yeah, but
Now
that's
up
when
to
he
Frankie
started
Gardiner.
using the name Frank Gardiner.
Does sound like the name of a trusted butcher. I'd go to Frank Gardiner.
So at this time, he started business. So he's a butcher with a gentleman named William Fogg, and Aidan writes that the meat they sold was high quality but of dubious origin. I.e., maybe they stole
Yes.
some stock to get that meat.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to get by in the butcher world. It's a butcher eat cow world out there.
Yeah, so this was something that was suspected of him for quite some time, but nobody could pin it on him until Sir Frederick Pottinger arrived in town, and they were arrested. Both Gardiner and Fogg were arrested on suspicion of cattle theft, but they were released on bail. And May 3rd, 1861, he disappeared into the bush, as he was prone to do in these situations.
Hence the Bush Ranger.
Yeah, and it's around this time he actually found John Paisley, who we met on Cockatoo Island again.
Yes.
And a Canadian named Johnny Gilbert. And he referred to himself as Prince of Tobeymen. I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
Is
what
Tobeymen
the
a place? Are
fuck's a Tobeymen?
Tobeymen people? Are they?
But
a group?
the important thing to take away is he was the prince of it.
Yeah, he was the prince. That the
Who the king,
uncontested
queen,
prince.
duke, and princess were, unknown.
Yeah. So they took up together. Apparently, he dressed very nicely.
Oh, that's good for him.
Paisley was
Wearing a Paisley tie.
bald and fat / bloated, and Gilbert was little, very little apparently.
And
A
so
Canadian bloke.
Frank was the middle of the two of them or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Good for him.
They would have been an odd little group to see.
I have always lived by the rule of hang out with people that are less attractive than me.
Oh, 100%.
Wait,
what? Wait, who's less attractive than who?
Stitch up.
I'm fucking confused.
Yeah, right. So he had his band of merry men, his followers, as he was the prince. Was he
Yeah.
Prince? The bushranger formerly known as the Prince of Tobeymen.
What?
I was making a Prince joke. Prince the artist, who became the artist formerly known as Prince, who then was known by just a symbol for a while. I was making a joke about that because he's the Prince of Tobeymen. So I said, was he the artist formerly known as the Prince of Tobeymen?
Yeah, right.
Are you even on my level today?
No, I'm not. So apparently, July 1861. Remember, this is not that long after he pissed off into the bush.
Yes.
Gardiner, he got exposure. He was sick.
Is that sunburn? Too much time outside?
I think it's more like pneumonia or something of that nature. Yeah. 1860, because this is winter.
Oh,
remember,
okay.
in
Then, yeah.
Australia.
Just exposure to any element.
Yeah,
long enough
so
to get
he was
sick.
taking shelter at Fogg's residence, his old mate from the stealing cattle and selling the meat phase. And then
Fogg
the
the
police
butcher.
arrived. Sergeant Middleton and Constable Hossey. Basically, there was a shootout.
Let's call him a hussy.
with some cops, and these two cops were shot and wounded, and then Gardiner had the shit beaten out of him, and they captured him. Then they don't really know exactly what happened, but the next day, possibly Paisley helped rescue Gardiner, but maybe Gardiner bribed the police. But basically, he was free again.
Gave them a few prime cuts of sirloin.
Yeah. So that's the story so far, isn't it? Hang on, just trying. I've lost my place, haven't I?
Look, there was a perfect point for me to edit out the gap, but then now you've drawn attention. I'm going to have to leave this in there because
No, it's important
our
to
listeners need to have honesty.
point out your mistakes.
Tim's fucked it.
Yeah.
Everyone just sit and think about it. No,
Yeah.
he does a lot. It's hard to read things and talk. That's why I
It's
can't.
bloody hard to read and talk, let me tell you.
So I can tell you the next part is that Frankie Boy Gardiner writes into the newspaper.
Yeah, to tell his side of the story.
Tell his side of the story, yeah. So it's very reminiscent to me of Fitzpatrick and the Kellys.
Yeah.
There's a couple of different perspectives on what happened, and then taking to the writing to the newspaper, getting your story out there. But the thing is that Gardy Boy did it first.
Yeah. And in this time period as well, he starts like accruing more members for his weird little gang.
For his royal procession, as he
Yeah.
is the Prince of Tobeymen.
So he was in the Lachlan area, which I'm not 100% sure where that is. I'm going to assume it's in Victoria.
Possibly. I feel like a lot of the stuff happened in New South Wales, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I have actually no
It's
idea.
in the
where
Lachlan
is.
area. That's what you need to know.
Nowhere says specifically. Oh, near Forbes. Yes, I think it's in New South Wales.
Okay, yeah.
So he had three new recruits: John Davis, John Connors, and John McGuinness, because everyone was named John back then.
You've got to have at least 3 Johns in your gang, or it's not a gang.
But these blokes, they referred to them as the Three Jacks. It was just hilarious. Yeah.
You got the 3 Jacks and there's Steve, but Steve's real name is Jordan.
Yeah. So, but there was one point John Connors got shot and captured by the police.
Oh, one of the Johns.
At Lemming Flat in April of 1862, and the other 2 Jacks fled.
The John Jacks.
Gardiner was pissed off, and he told them to go away.
Right.
And then John McGuinness was found dead, and they reckon Gardiner killed him
Wait,
in his being pissed off. So basically,
there are so many Johns.
he was with the 3 Jacks.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
The 3 Jacks were doing something without Gardiner, and
Yeah.
one of them got shot.
Right.
Connors was shot.
But was he captured or just shot?
He was just shot and captured, both.
Right. And then Gardiner
The other
tells them
2
all to
pissed
piss
off and went to Gardiner. He was annoyed, and then they found John McGuinness, one of the other Jacks, dead, and they think that Gardiner was so pissed off that they had left their comrade and come to him that he killed McGuinness in a rage.
Oh, that's a bloody confusing situation. You got
Yeah.
there's too many Jacks in the kitchen, is the old saying.
Here's the thing about Frank Gardiner. He just has so many sidekicks.
Yeah, so many Jacks.
It's just a long list of friggin' sidekicks. But June 1862, so they went to Lachlan Gold. He bailed up the Lachlan Gold escort with a gang, including more people that he picked up.
Yes.
A bloke named Ben Hall, Dan Charters, and Johnny Gilbert. This is actually considered one of the largest ever gold robberies in Australian history.
Did you just jump over Ben Hall being involved?
Is it Ben Hall that I think it is?
Yeah, I think it's the Ben Hall.
Let me just look this up.
I don't think there's other Ben Halls to poke a stick at.
Have we talked about Ben Hall?
No, we haven't done Ben Hall yet. We probably should do him at some point because I don't know enough about him. I know that he was a big old bushranger.
We will have to do it.
And the guy that Aiden's working with on Glen Rowan made the Ben Hall movie, or one of the Ben Hall movies.
Yeah, right. Well, yes, from what I can see, it
is
was
the
the
Ben Hall.
Ben Hall.
Yeah, because I think what Aiden's article said, this is one of the few times where I read the article as well, because I really didn't know enough. I thought I'd be screwed if I came into the episode with zero knowledge. And also I wanted to read what Aiden had written, is that the Prince of Tobeymen himself was a bit of a mentor by the same of it for a bunch of bushrangers that came to be later on, because there's a bunch of names there. You and I don't know every bushranger.
No.
At least one of those Jacks is probably a bushranger that we'll cover at some point.
Probably. There's Johnny Gilbert, who's part of this same heist that we're about to talk about.
Yeah,
as
good.
well.
He's still around.
But
So the Ben Hall,
Ben Hall was part of
is
this.
there.
Yeah. So this particular robbery, they stole 2,700 ounces of gold. I don't know how much an ounce is, but I know that even 1 ounce of gold is like a lot.
Yeah.
Estimated worth at the time was £14,000, which in 2012 terms, I'm not sure why Wikipedia specifically gives 2012.
Oh, it was a great year for money.
But it's like $12.5 million.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I thought, wait, how much did you say it was? 14,000?
£14,000.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought I read that it was like 6,000 of gold and 4,000 of other stuff.
Well, it just says that they stole. Yeah, they stole all of that.
Either
6,000
way, they got upwards of £10,000 worth of money back then.
Correct. But the police managed to get most of it back, but there's still some that is missing even now.
Let's go on a hunt.
Treasure hunters still visit the area because it's rumored that, yeah.
Well, Gilbert had to... Not Gilbert. Who are we talking about? Frank Gardiner had to give his up. 'Cause he got caught and he had to let his pack horse go.
Yes.
But again, give you a bit of the context, only because I just finished off the terms, I've still got a bit of Kelly stuff in my brain, is that from the Kelly robberies, from Girilderie and Euroa, they got £2,000 at both places. So they had a total of £4,000. So this is more than double what they made in 2 robberies. They made in 1.
Yeah. So there you go.
Pretty impressive if you do say so yourselves.
Indeed. So that was kind of the big moment.
Then what, Tim? Assuming they all got arrested and they went to jail and they were all hanged for their crimes.
No, I think they actually got away with it. There's no indication that I can see that they actually... he just had to Gardiner abandoned his pack horse.
Yeah.
But it doesn't indicate that they were ever caught necessarily.
Genius.
Yeah. Bloody good on him. Now, throughout all of this, Gardiner had been wooing Kitty Brown, the younger sister of Ben Hall's wife, so Ben Hall's sister-in-law.
Oh, well, that's a dangerous game to play.
Yep.
know?
And they were conducting a secret affair.
Top secret, so secret we all knew about it.
Sexy secrets.
Ooh.
So after the robbery, I think why they didn't get caught is Gardiner just pissed off out of New South Wales. He went to Victoria first of all, and he took Kitty with him to make a new start in the goldfields down there. They went, but that didn't end up working out, so they ended up going north to Queensland to Apis Creek. And this is where shit gets dicey.
Well, it is Queensland, so it's hard yakka.
They bought a pub up there, and it was going pretty well.
That's nice.
But Kitty had written a letter, and it was intercepted. And some New South Wales police who had intercepted the letter decided that they were going to go to Queensland.
Yeah, that's not necessarily...
Remembering that at this time, I mean, I think technically they would probably, unless it was Australian Federal Police, they wouldn't be able to do this anyway because of the jurisdictions.
That's still today. That is the general
it's still
rule
dodgy
of thumb.
now. But like in this period, like they were separate colonies, completely separate colonies. They had absolutely no jurisdiction. They head up there, dragged Gardiner out of the pub, and apprehended him.
Yeah, and brought him all the way back.
And then brought him back to New South
New
Wales. They hadn't received permission either, so there was a possibility of obtaining permission for them to come up as well.
Yeah,
they hadn't even bothered to try that. They just went up and got him.
But they knew that if they went up there and grabbed Frank Gardiner, the most wanted man at that moment for his huge gold heist, that no one was going to blink a bloody eye, aside from maybe some Queensland policemen who were like, "No, I wanted to catch him." Yeah.
So anyway, they brought him back. They put him on trial. He was found guilty, obviously. Sentenced to 34 years imprisonment.
Yeah, it's not a small chunk.
It's not a small chunk, but he did, he masterminded, an enormous robbery.
It was a huge robbery, although even today, I don't know if someone stole that many millions of dollars, I don't even know how many years they'd get.
Yeah.
Would they get 34 years? Who knows? Depends on if anyone died. No one died.
Yeah.
A lot of money went, though.
So he was sent to Darlinghurst Jail in Sydney. Kitty and Gardner's sister fought to try and get him out, but it didn't work out. Eventually, Kitty moved to New Zealand with her brother-in-law and committed suicide after months of living in dire poverty. So it's a nice ending to that story.
Yeah, that's pleasant. I enjoy that one. Poor Kitty.
Yeah. So basically, Gardiner just stayed in jail until 1874. I believe he was in there for 10 years.
I don't remember
of his 34 year. He would have been caught. I think he was caught in 64. So he was in there about 10 years.
Yeah.
They let him go. The reason that they let them go is that there was a movement put through that anyone that had been in jail for a while, their time was going to be altered to match the current norms. So there must have been some kind of reform in the law and the imprisonment terms at that time period. So they decided like everyone that's in there will just
open the gates and let them go.
Well, yeah, we'll just bring it all up to date, and they can just do their terms, whatever they are now.
All those people that are in there for life are like sick.
Yeah, and so lucky for him, he managed to get out. He was basically exiled because he was fucked.
Yeah.
As far as his history, no
You're
one's
out,
going to
but
look
also
after him.
stay away.
His lover went overseas and was no longer around.
Yeah.
So he left Australia. Aiden says he went to Hong Kong, ended up moving to San Francisco, where he ran a pub again, a saloon. But how he died is a mystery.
It is. There are a couple of suggestions.
Yes. Would you like to go over the suggestions?
No, I don't have it in front of me anymore.
Oh yeah, cool. One of the suggestions is that he was killed in a barroom brawl. Others say that he married a rich widow, had 2 sons before dying of old age. But Aiden says the most likely scenario is that he turned to alcoholism and died in a poorhouse in 1892.
Again, a nice end.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Basically, you just wound up dying.
Don't you guys... I assume people come to our Bushranger episodes to hear the happy endings, right?
Oh, of course.
No one had a happy ending aside from Martin Cash, who just got old and hung out.
Yeah. He did do quite well. Everyone else, nobody else does well.
I was talking to someone about Bushrangers last night because he was talking about the fact that he was... he had been writing a Captain Moonlight play. And I was like, you know who's a cool bushranger? Martin Cash, because he ran to Tasmania and just got old.
Yeah.
But this is pretty close to that. He ran away to San Fran and got old.
Yeah, he
riding trams, Golden Gate bridges. It's all happening.
Yeah, so that's old Cranky Frankie.
Cranky Frankie, Frankie Wanky, Frankie.
Pulled off with Ben Hall and some others.
You said pulled off straight after I said Cranky Frankie.
Yep, pulled off Ben Hall. No, good on him. Was the biggest heist,
the Godfather,
biggest gold heist in Australian history.
The Godfather of Bushranging is a supposed claim that Aiden mentions.
Yeah,
but he's also the Prince of Tobeymen.
Is he a godfather or a prince?
I think he's the godfather to a king, which makes him a prince. I think that's how that works.
I don't know how the structure and hierarchy of titles works. So
how's the beard? How's the facial hair?
He's got a bit there.
He has some. I did see some. It either looked well groomed or he just didn't grow shit.
Kind of depends which picture you look at him, because there are some of him barefaced, and then there are some of him with a bit of a beard. He's got an Amish beard though.
He does. I thought I saw one with like a little bit of mustache, almost a bit of a Dan Kelly when he had a bit of facial hair. But no, he's got a bit. Probably on the lower scale. In the what would be on a normal scale of 1 to 5, but on us is a insert bushranger name here to insert bushranger name here.
Correct.
Might make that tomorrow.
He'd be between insert bushranger here and insert bushranger here. I'd
Guaranteed.
say.
But if you put insert bushranger here into that mix, well, then it's a whole other kettle of insert bushranger here.
Yeah. It's a finicky system, honestly. It's very complicated.
It's gonna be easy for me to make this chart tomorrow, because I'm just gonna write insert bushranger here.
Yeah.
Excellent, Tim. Our beards look, smell, taste, feel
disgusting. Oh,
yours,
good.
mine. No, great, wonderful,
okay.
amazing. Yep. Because we use Bushrangers Brew, which is
true.
beard products sent to us from the company that is Bushrangers Brew, run by our good mate Joel. We're talking beard oil. We're talking beard wash. We're talking what's the other thing? The
beard balm.
Beard balm.
Yep.
Talking mustache wax. It's all there. Talking multiple flavors, multiple scents, whatever tickles your pickles.
Yep.
What are you using, Tim?
I use Rum Rebellion
Ooh.
and Bunyip Dreaming.
Oh.
2 beautiful flavors. It's good stuff. I took it to Japan with me.
Oh, any comments?
No.
They don't know it. They might not have bunyips over there.
They're not familiar with bunyips or rum rebellions.
It's hard for them to comment on the smell of a bunyip if they've never smelt it before.
Yeah.
But it's a smell you never forget once you've smelt it. And I am Mystics across the board. I stick to my Mystics. Maybe I'll go back to one of those ones next time I'm into it. It's been a while.
Try it out.
Shake it up. Shake it up.
Try it out.
So get on that. If you go to www.bushrangersbrew.com, I don't think there's a .au. I think it's just .com. and you use the code YEAHGDAY, that's YEAHGDAY, all caps, you'll get 25% off your order.
That's a quarter.
That's half of half.
That's 1/4.
That's less than you would pay full price.
Correct.
So with all that in mind, it seems silly. You're basically losing money by not buying it right now.
What kind of idiot are you?
Stop listening to our damn show. No, there's still more to come. Tim, have you got something to give to us?
Yes, I have a dad advice.
Please share.
Is that what you meant?
Please stand up in front of the class and share it with everyone.
Oh, I'm not going to stand up. My back hurts. Dear Tim and Leon, my name is Cheryl, and I've just returned from an overseas trip.
Oh, Cheryl.
Isn't that interesting that her experience is reflective of mine? I spent a couple of weeks in Japan, once again, and have not long been back in Oz. I was wondering if you have any tips for getting back into the swing of things post-holiday. It's bloody hard getting back to work, so any advice you have would be ripper. Thanks, gents. Cheryl.
Sheza.
You got any advice for bloody Cheryl, whose experience directly reflects my own but is not connected to me in any way?
I've got something to Cheryl. None for you, though. You block your ears.
Yeah, I don't want to hear this advice.
No, look, my issue is that I haven't been on enough holidays.
Right.
Away from work. I did have a bit of a stint over Christmas last year. I took off more time than everyone else, so I kind of came back to the office a week later. And the technique I used was just continue to not enjoy my job as much as I did before the holiday.
Okay.
After the holiday. If not, I might have even put more passion into disliking it after the holiday.
Yeah, let the hate flow through you, as the Emperor from Star Wars says.
I think it's give more hate. Basically, what you want to do, you want to take at least one thing with you from the trip, whether it's a gift for everyone, some kind of food, whether it's a little icon that you got there, a little figurine or something, as a talking point.
Yep.
Mainly so that you can just constantly say to people, did I tell you that I just got back from Japan?
Yeah, I think the key is to talk about it as much as possible. And don't worry about the eye rolling. Don't worry about the obvious disdain people show towards you whenever you walk into a room.
Them repeating the story you've already told 10 times.
I think it's important to talk about it as much as possible.
I think the options you have did I just tell you I got back from Japan?
Yeah.
Your other option is sitting there at the computer and like taking off your headset and just going, this isn't the same way it is in Japan, is it?
Yeah.
Are
these computers regulation? Yeah. They're not the same as the ones in Japan.
Every time that someone mentions anything slightly close to Japan, like, I'm just going to have a green tea, be like, do you know in Japan, it's actually, it's matcha. And it's in everything.
Yeah. You know what's weird, Cheryl, is they actually, in Japan, they have like, it's not dad advice so much, but they ask questions, which is similar to what you've done.
Yeah.
I've just been in Japan, so I
Tim would know.
Yeah. That's a little bit of self-referential humor.
Or do a lot of the
callback, if you will.
I do a lot of the in Japanese culture that's unacceptable. That doesn't fly.
Yeah. What?
Wait, did you just rub your chopsticks together? No. That's rude.
What are you, stupid?
I read an article about. Well, I didn't read an article. It was in like a life hack thing or something. I don't even know. But it talked about like rubbing your chopsticks together being rude because they think it looks like they're dodgy. When I'm getting my stuff from Sushi Hub or Sushi, guaranteed the chopsticks are dodgy.
They are dodgy.
And they're made of balsa wood.
Yeah.
So I'm going to rub them to my heart's content.
I think it's fine there. I think it's just if you're in a restaurant.
Yeah, I think if you're in a proper restaurant. And it's also weird when you do it with the plastic ones.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Cheryl, don't rub your chopsticks together. No. Because it is rude.
Thanks
for your question.
Draw as much attention to your holiday as possible.
Yeah.
Talk about how you can't wait to go back. Maybe plan the next one already.
Yeah.
And so that you can just talk about it. Make Japan your Bali.
Yeah. And I think always walk around the office, if you're not talking about Japan, just really obviously morose. Like you want people to look at you and see that you are unhappy to be there.
Yeah. What's wrong, Sharon? The air in Australia is just so different from the air in Japan, you know?
Yeah.
The air conditioners in here are just... Yeah. They don't have that... Are they Fujitsu? I don't even know.
Maybe be really obnoxious and when people speak to you, stare at them for a second and say, Oh, sorry. It took me a moment to process what you said. I'm just so used to speaking Japanese.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just not used to speaking English again yet.
What Tim's hinted on is actually the perfect thing that you do, where when you're talking to someone, you go, "Oh, what's the English word for it?"
Yeah. Did you see that meme? That's hilarious. Yeah.
Did
When
I
you
see
can't think of a when you can't think of a
Yeah.
word, just say, I don't know the English word for it, because it makes you seem like you know
So you'll be
multiple
like,
languages rather than you're just a dickhead.
You sit down and you go, "Oh, I can't wait for dinner. I'm going to use my knife and what's the English word? They don't have in Japan. It's about chopsticks."
Yeah, we don't use it that over there. Yeah.
Or when you're talking in conversation, be like, I'm just going to go grab an orangey. Sorry, that's what's the English? Because in Japanese it's or a ringo. You get in your apple.
Yeah.
Or your ice cream.
Yes. So
I think I missed a syllable.
do all of those things, Cheryl, and
I'm going to start doing. I haven't even been to Japan.
yeah, why not?
I can't wait to start doing the what's the English word.
What is the English word for that? Yeah.
Have you? There's I can't remember what the YouTube series was. It's the one where it was the Barbie dolls that they were making movies.
Oh yeah.
What was that called? Worst Girls in School or something like that. Anyway,
Yeah, I can't remember. My sister showed me it though.
the best one that they had is they had the French woman in that, and she would be like, "It's how you say a book," and the other chick's like, "Why'd you say how you say it when you know how to say it? Like you just said the word."
Yeah.
Anyway,
Good
Tim.
stuff. Mm.
I forgot last episode.
Oh yeah.
And you were away for the time being, but we need to give a shout out to our friend Bree Weeks, or I believe the German pronunciation of Weeks, assuming it's German, which with the
What's
W.
the English
it is.
word for the name?
Bree, what's the English? She became a Patreon patron.
Oh, cheers.
She's eagerly awaiting a postcard once Tim can scribble his John Hancock's on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks Bree. Thanks for supporting it. If you want to join her, go to www.patreon.com/yeahg'day, and we'll be releasing a bonus episode soon. Not now because we have no battery.
Yeah. Cheers for that.
So that's coming up. I also want to make two recommendations that I was telling Tim about before this for podcasts that I listened to today as a bit of a podcasting exercise, a reviewing podcast. One of them is called Amateur Animal Psychic.
Interesting.
Don't ask questions, just listen.
Yep.
Friend of the show, James Anderson, was on the episode I listened to, so that's always nice.
Oh, nice.
And also listen to Go No Contact, which is looking at the relationship subreddit and all the stuff people post there and kind of providing advice or discussing what they put there. Tell you what, that subreddit is full of fucked stuff.
Fucked stuff?
People are horrible, mainly men. Men are horrid, which we know.
Yes, we're aware of it.
And also, I don't know if I've said it on here. I've posted a lot about it on Twitter, but listen to Kids on Bikes.
The
James
show or the
No, as kids ride past your house.
Yeah. I always listen to their conversations.
James Anderson, Aaron King, and a bunch of our new podcast and Twitter friends, but our old friends there, James and Aaron, role-playing game. I've ordered a copy, so I'll be getting into it as well. But it's like Stranger Things, but a board game.
But not because of copyright.
1960-something, pretty much. That covers it, I'm pretty sure. Big thanks to Aidan what's the English word? Phelan.
Yep.
For a guide to Australian bushranging. That's what it is, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. Thanks for providing basically the content for this episode.
Cheers.
Fuck Wikipedia.
Yeah, I've always said
Get that off for a joke.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, mate. Go check out his stuff and get excited for Glen Rowan. I think you and I... Now, the contract hasn't come through yet. And I did see that they have actually put up a picture for someone else's Ned Kelly.
Yep.
But I think that's the placeholder.
I think with marketing, you always want to throw people off, make them think one thing, and then throw them a curveball.
Well, imagine going to the movies and being like, well, this guy's playing Ned Kelly, and then next thing, it's both Tim and I playing the joint role where every time the camera cuts, it's one of us playing Ned Kelly. It's a different one of us, yeah. And the surprise on the audience faces when they say, it's those fuckers from Yeah G'day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Aiden, if you talk to our agent, Tim's my agent. You can just send the contract.
And Leon's
through.
mine, so I guess please don't discuss anything directly with me.
And
ever.
I will make sure Tim gets paid much less than I did. So thanks, Aiden. As always, thanks Teylor Smirl for our wonderful cover art.
And Curtis Fernance, Fern Tree Music, for the music, introduction, outroduction. Cheers, mate.
And check out the Yearg'day store, www.yearg'day.com/store, and buy all our merchandise or merchandise.
Buy it now.
If you're not buying it, you're not buying it, is what the saying is.
Yeah.
The big important thing for us to mention now, this episode has definitely been recorded as it normally is on the weekend, definitely after the grand final, and I just can't believe the game that was played.
Oh.
The boys.
The ball went from one end to the other over and over again.
You remember when insert footballer's name here did the mad insert football stunt here?
Yeah.
It was an amazing backflip.
Kind of extraordinary. And but at the end of the day, that team that won really deserved the win.
At the end of the day, the real winners are us who got to see Will.i.am minus Fergie.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I definitely can tell you at this time and not ahead of time that performance was good and not a travesty.
It was wonderful. Didn't mess up anything. Hopefully they sing the national anthem.
Well done to Barnsley, though. He definitely
Barnsley
he
killed.
definitely ripped it up.
I'd listen to Will.i.am sing the national anthem. Anyway, as always, I think that's everything. Thank you for listening to our speed run of Yearg'day, where we were worried about the battery dying the entire time.
Yes.
As always, g'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
G'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone. Catches on the flippity flop.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Auscast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Auscast.
Simply head to auscastnetwork.com for details.